With Survivor 41 coming to an end, we have Survivor 42 over the horizon to look forward to. But before we go full steam ahead with discussing season 42, we still have one more episode of season 41 before we close things out. We're getting a little carried away with ourselves as we need to break down episode 12 before we get there. Truth Kamikaze.
Your truth bomb was a little bit more of a truth kamikaze, my friend.
Don't worry, we're going to be diving into this episode of Survivor and discussing all things about the truth bomb, letters from home, tie votes, and immunity challenge insanity. So make sure to stay watching to the very end so you don't miss any of it. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get everything Survivor. It's currently December, which means all month long leading up until Christmas, I'll be making daily Survivor videos. Careful for spoilers for everything during the episode if you haven't seen it yet. I'll number all these things as we go along to stay organized, starting with everyone discussing Liana being voted out.
Liana, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. Play hard.
Number 20. After Liana gets voted out, we return to camp to what feels like pure chaos. Well, that might be a little extreme. I would say pure confusion by Danny and Deshawn as they are flabbergasted about why everyone kept the challenge beast, jury threat, and strategic player still in the game. But outside of the game, everyone is still processing the very emotional tribal council that just took place. They realize it's a game, but from the looks of things, they all respect each other as we see Xander give Deshawn a big hug. Danny really thought he had Xander on his side, but after confronting him about it, Xander explained he really needed Ricard for one more vote because of the good old meat shield strategy. Number 19. It's pretty clear that the very emotional tribal council took a toll on everyone. As we get some insight on this with the majority of the players left in the game, Heather and Deshawn have a one-on-one conversation the next morning where Heather feels guilty that she didn't know what was going on. Deshawn brings up an excellent point where he says that the game should be separate from emotions, but it's just so hard. First off, let's go Heather, you got some screen time, but with the lack of Heather this season, this quote just makes me feel so bad for her.
I needed to be here. This was my time.
Number 18. Deshawn now has a conversation with Erika about what went down at Tribal Council the night before, and it's at this moment we learn the many layers of difficulty with playing Survivor. Erika really respects Deshawn for opening up about how difficult voting Shan out was, as she felt extremely guilty for voting Liana out of the game, as a majority of the community understands that a woman hasn't won Survivor in such a long time.
It's not just about color and just about gender and just about like it goes deeper than that. In this game, it goes deeper than that.
Number 17. We head to the reward challenge where Jeff explains the 6 remaining players will be randomly divided into 2 teams of 3. Deshawn wants nothing about it as he's craving some letters from home. Jeff Probst gives a little sassy remark about how they've been complaining about food the entire season before starting off the reward challenge. Number 16. The actual reward challenge was your classic swim to the other side, go over a net, jump into the water, collect some buoys, and shoot some hoops. And the highlights for me were Xander's outstanding dive, Deshawn physically struggling from start to finish from obvious lack of food, and Heather being too tired to swim. And I couldn't help but picture JD in this situation screaming money all challenge long. Number 15. The yellow team consisting of Erika, Deshawn, and Xander end up winning the reward challenge, and they obviously chose the chicken and veggies. Apparently this is Xander's candy as it brings him right back to feeling at home with what he loves. However, any Survivor fan understands part of a group reward is the food, but a major part of the reward time is usually consisting of strategy, and we actually get a final 3-pack form between all of these players. Can we get a hashtag Chicken Alliance in the comments? Number 14. Meanwhile, as the Chicken Alliance is forming, we have the losers back at camp, and after Ricard and Heather get distracted, we see Danny run off and search for the hidden immunity idol. Production plays with us a little bit here by showing Danny was so close to finding it. I believe this so much, I was convinced he actually found it and that they were going to be surprising us later in the episode. Number 13. Danny was gone for a long time searching for the idol, so Ricard and Heather start to wonder what's going on. Boom, we get a surprise confessional from Heather, but we also see Ricard explain that Danny's vibe felt very different when he returned. Again, making me think production was tricking us and we were going to get surprised with Danny finding the idol.
And it just makes me think he has an idol.
Number 12. I hope you're all paying attention and listening because this conversation that Erika and Deshawn are about to have will become very important at the end of the video. They first bring up the hashtag Chicken Alliance again with a final 3 deal between Erika, Deshawn, and Xander. But then Deshawn kind of leads Erika into being worried about the jury confusing herself and Heather about playing the same game in the end.
In all honesty, all 3 of us have played very different games and we would all have a fair shot, I think, when we pitch to the jury.
Number 11. We head to the immunity immunity challenge, and honestly, I need to give a good round of applause here. This challenge was super cool, and I think it played out extremely well on TV. We have a really cool spinny thingy, the pressure was on for Ricard to win. It kind of hurt my brain how the puzzle needed to be the same front and back, and to finish things off, Ricard wins his third immunity challenge in a pretty dominating fashion.
The entire time I was unspooling, I was thinking of every 4-letter word I can in this game.
Number 10. Everyone is pissed off at Ricard. Well, I don't mean angry at the dude or anything, but just upset that he keeps winning so many immunity challenges. Danny and Deshaun obviously want to get Ricard out last week, and Erika is questioning if they should have taken their shot at him before. There are 2 immunity challenges left, and so if Ricard can win both of them, he will tie the record. Number 9. Ricard questions Danny about the hidden immunity idol, and at this point, I thought that production was just winking at us, and it was guaranteed that Danny found something. I might be going crazy, however, Ricard is as convinced as I am because he decided to look through Danny's bag. But anyway, why did we get a flashback to earlier in the episode with Danny looking for the idol? Stop with this, Survivor. Stop. Number 8. Such a weird duo discussing Survivor strategy as Xander and Heather have a one-on-one discussion on who to vote out. The conversation makes it clear that it's going to be either Danny or Deshaun being sent to the jury. Ultimately, the decision comes down to who they think has a better chance of beating Ricard in a challenge.
That's true. But Danny's the only one who's won another immunity challenge.
Number 7. Looks like we're going to be seeing every duo possible discuss what's the best plan moving forward. In case Danny magically found the hidden immunity idol, a smart move will be to split the vote. Erika wants to keep Deshaun in the game because 1. He has a better chance to beat Ricard, and 2. Chicken Alliance.
When really, it's everybody's best interest to get rid of Deshaun except for mine.
Number 6. Next up, we see Erika and Ricard debating on who should go home. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's going to be between Danny and Deshaun. Ricard brings up the major issue with the 26-day Survivor season, and it comes down to the fact that Ricard has only known Heather and Erika for 10 days, making it extremely difficult to trust them. Number 5. Bromance, BFF, Survivor Alliance, you can call it whatever you want, but spending 23 days together, it is clear Danny and Deshaun grew very close. In a very sad moment, they understand they need to vote for each other here, and Danny finally reveals that he played in the NFL. Obviously, it was the right move for Ricard, but looking back at how things played out, do you think Danny and Deshaun blindsided Shan too early? Comment down below what you think. Number 4. We went into the tribal council knowing that either Danny or Deshaun was going to be voted out, but I still had faith that production was pulling a fast one on us and Danny found the hidden immunity idol. Jeff Probst gives both people on the chopping block the opportunity to describe what the Survivor journey was like for them. Danny stays positive and says he tried his best, but Deshaun decides to take a different approach. Number 3. Before we get into the truth bomb, we need to discuss the final repulse puzzle of the season. Like always, I'll slow down the repulse puzzle so you can get a closer look, and the answer is, I'll go tally the votes. Number 2. Remember earlier in the episode when Deshaun and Erika had that conversation about not wanting to take Heather to the end? Well, that little seed grew into a full fruit as Deshaun exposes Erika in front of everyone. Can we all agree this was a sloppy and stupid move? Deshaun doesn't know if he's the one going home, but now somehow if he survives, there is zero chance that Erika will be able to trust him again. At least we were given a shout out to David versus Goliath.
Leave here today. In the words of Gabby from David vs. Goliath, at least I did something with some gumption. So I have to stand on that.
Number 1. Xander says the truth bomb is more like a truth kamikaze. Danny gives Ricard a hilarious stare down regarding the idol. There's a tie vote just to be safe. We find out the final 5 made it to the finale episode where they're going to be living on a new island. There's 3 days left, 2 immunity challenges, 2 tribal councils, 1 fire making challenge, and 1 winner. And to cap things off, Danny makes sure to say go Cowboys as he's voted out. If you're excited for Survivor 42, click right here for my video on the tribe breakdown.